Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I Shashireka from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering and Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are discussing about HTML and CSS forms. So the main objective of these HTML and CSS forms is it creates process and validate forms. It creates text boxes, password boxes and text areas. It makes email, search, telephone and URL boxes. It uses radio buttons, checkboxes and submit buttons. It creates select boxes and group select box options. Allow visitors to upload files. It creates hidden fields also. It style forms on their state. The constructing a form of is straightforward and similar to creating any other part of a web page. There are two basic parts of a form. The collection of controls, labels and buttons that the visitor views on a page and hopefully fills out our activities. The processing script that takes information and converts it into a format that you can read or tally. This is the example of form. It creates a web page having username, password and submit button. This is the code. The dynamic HTML. It includes start and end tags, label, control and buttons that make up of the form. Each control has a name attribute that identifies the data. Visitors submit a form via a submit button. The data is sent to the script of the server. It is not used for dynamic content but for more interactive presentation. The HTML presentation and CSS formatting for presentation is known as dynamic content. For example, the separating of pages for a specific browser's different content based on cookie settings for presentation and most click events. These are the basic tags for creating forms like title, strong, code, paragraph break and etc. Form scripts process information gathered from visitors' forms. Processing scripts can log into to database on server, send into via email. To validate a attribute, a form means to check that the visitor has completed necessary field and that the submitted data is in the format you accept. Some form elements have built-in validation features. These are not replacements for server-side validation because old browsers or browsers with JavaScript disabled will not perform client-server validation. Many HTML tags have one or more of these attributes, which makes them very hard to list. While building your own pages, any decent reference will list the attributes with each tag you use. These are the entities for using a forms. It has two sides, server-side languages and client-side languages. It runs on a computer that serves your web pages, not visitor's computer. Its scripts must be uploaded to server to work. It is a site-server language. Server must have PHP installed to interrupt script. And client-side languages works inside the browser. It can do many tasks interacting with the server at all. Great for manipulating browsers, windows and checking data has been entered before submitting forms. This is the hyperlinking. Like it is the organizing the forms. Field set elements like anchor tag. The group related elements in a form make it easier to follow. Good if you have a lot of information. Legend element gives each field set a caption that describes the purpose of each grouping. Frames. Frames displays separate pages in different defined areas of a single view. It is good for menus and navigation. This is the example. Table. Tables are very easy to build in HTML. It defines a table. In table, we can create text boxes can contain one line of free-form text entered by a visitor, typically used for things like names and addresses. Each text box is represented by an input tag with a type text assigned. Name attribute is used by server-side scripts to retrieve the value of a visitor enters the text box or that you pre-populate with a value attribute. Images. General form to include an image. It requires location and source of the image. If only a file name is present, the current directory is assumed. All the attributes writes alternative text if the picture is unavailable or the browser can't display images. Images can be used to make image maps. These are images where different areas of the image link to different resources. The color and backgrounds. So many elements in HTML can have color defined. Background images can be added in much the same way. Although these color and background tags work, most color in any element has been depreciated. All style is supposed to be done through style sheets. And the creating emails such as telephone and URL boxes. These are also examples of forms. To create a email box, create a label to identify the input box to your visitors. Then you have to create buttons and all. So as I mentioned, in any formatting in the HTML web page itself will work, but proper code styling now dictates formatting should be done with style sheets because forms plays major role in a HTML and CSS style. So this is the presentation. Thank you. Hope you understand well.